Alright, so I'm going to talk about Battlefield 5, and I'm going to kind of be talking fast because there's a lot to cover, and I don't want to make this video 20 minutes long. This may be like a very off-the-cuff, like unscripted. I got a couple notes, but that's about it. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is attrition, and that's the system where you have to grab ammo for yourself and grab meds for yourself. You don't spawn in with full supplies. And at the beginning of the game, or the beginning whenever you spawn in, you get 1 mag in your gun and then 1 mag spare. And for a Battlefield game, I think that's way too little. Even with the higher damage that the guns in this game have, I still think that 2 mags is far too little. If you get caught in a gunfight early on in your respawn, if it's more than 2 or 3 guys, there's nothing you can do. You just have no ammo to combat. You can switch to your pistol, but the ones in the beta and alpha only had 9 to 10 shots. Another thing I was going to talk about is regeneration. So there's kind of regeneration in the game, but in the sense that it's kind of unclear when you're going to regenerate. So there's always the option of going back to like a med box or a medic to get regenerated to full, but there's times where you can get shot and then you might regenerate like 20 or 30 HP. And I say might because it's never clear when you or why you are going to regenerate. So it kind of gives you no indication of when you're going to regenerate, because you can get like 20 something to 30 something HP back, but it's never, I don't know when or why you can get it back, like what certain cases you have where you can get HP back, because it just never tells you. Another thing I'm going to talk about is the revive system. I think that the revive system is actually kind of cool. So I'm going to talk about the squad revive system. So if you were a squad mate dies, a fellow squad mate, regardless if they're a medic or not, can revive you. If you're a medic, it'll go faster. You'll just like stab with a needle and get on your way. But if you're like a normal, I don't know, just say like assault, you gotta like pat them or whatever. You gotta pet them like a dog, and then they'll kind of like wake up and get up. It's a little bit slower. I think it's kind of cool. But if a person that has died, it's awful, because you got the waiting for revive screen that Battlefield kind of had, but it's just much worse. So it gives you 3 options. You can either bleed out and it'll make you die faster. You can do nothing and it'll kind of be like an in-between of the next thing and bleeding out. And you can wait for a revive. You can hold on, I guess it's called. And that kind of just like extends the amount of time that you're bleeding out, and will kind of like signal medics or whatever by like putting your hand up. And I think that's a terrible system, because when you die, or when I'll give myself an example. So there's times where I die and I don't want a medic or my squad mates to try and save me, because I know I'm in a bad spot. I know they're going to die. I got sniped or something, and I can't communicate that. So I just want to get rid of myself, not give them the option to revive me, so that they don't get themselves caught in a bad situation. And I think that's just completely absent in Battlefield 5, because of the fact that you cannot go straight back to the deploy screen. You have to wait out the 10 to 15 seconds minimum of the respawn screen. I think it's a terrible system. I hate it. It's awful. It makes the games go so slow, it feels like, because if you're dying and you got to wait out 15 seconds before you can get to the deploy screen, it's just an awful experience. And then after you get back out of the deploy screen, or out of the revive screen, you're put into the squad deployment screen, and that's just as bad. You can get like a third-person view of the squad mate you're spawning on, and you can cycle between the squad mates that are alive, and you can only spawn on them when not under fire or like getting suppressed. So if the person that's selected automatically for the first person that you see is under fire, you have to scroll through the multiple people that are in your squad one at a time and wait for them to stop being under fire so you can spawn on them. Just give me the old school Battlefield 4-esque deployment screen. Battlefield 1 had it too. They didn't have the squad deployment screen. You just got the top-down view of the map. You could see your squad members. You could see if they're under fire or not, because they'd be unable to be spawned on. Just give me that back. It's so much better. I hate having to see my squad mates getting shot at and I have nothing to do about it. And it's not even the fact that you just scroll through all of them. It's you have to wait until you get to that screen to go into the deployment screen, which is like the top-down screen, because that's still in the game. You just have to click it once you get to the squad deployment screen. It's an awful system. I just want to get straight. I just want to die, look at my classes, edit my classes, and then wait for my timer to end so I can respawn. It's awful. And another thing that I was going to talk about that I forgot to mention back with the revive system is even after you wait out, even if you wait out like the long hold, like where you can hold on for a medic to revive you, even if you wait out that, I don't even know how long it is, 20, 30 seconds, you still have to wait the same amount of time, which is like 8 to 9 seconds after you die. So if you hold out the entire time and you still die, you still have to wait the same 8 seconds that a person that just immediately bled out has to wait. Awful system. I hate it. It's awful. I'm gonna do a quick overview on the vehicles. So I actually think tanks are pretty good. I like tanks. I like I like the attrition system with them. I like you can't just go into a fight and take on everyone. You have to keep in mind your HP. You can't just you can auto repair, but you can't get auto repair up to full. You have to go back to a resupply station. So you can't just be like running through everything and just find a place where you can hide and then repair. You have to be at a station that's designated for that. One thing I don't like with the tanks is like the coaxial, like the driver's machine gun. I think the bullets are a little slow. I think it's kind of hard to hit people that are even like a medium to long range distance. So if I were to do something, I would change the velocity of those bullets. And as far as planes go, I think they're pretty bad in Battlefield 5. I don't like them. I just plain and simple. I felt that the plane, I didn't get too much gameplay as planes, so kind of take that with a grain of salt. I didn't find the plane versus plane combat very good. I felt that, like, I don't know, just kind of awkward. And especially for the plane versus ground combat, I thought was just terrible. It's very hard to hit someone on the ground with the British planes. I found it a little bit easier with the German planes, but I don't know, that could just be my imagination. I'm not sure if they're gonna put it in, but there's no bomb camera like there was in Battlefield 1 where you could see where your bombs would land. You didn't have any indication of that, so you kind of just had to guess where your bomb would land. I guess you could probably get a feel for it after a while, but that's kind of just punishing the new players. That's not all I'm gonna say about planes. I just don't feel like they're in a great place in Battlefield 5. Next topic I'm gonna talk about is player visibility. I think it's incredibly hard to pick out players out of the background. It's probably a combination of things. One of the things I would think, or a couple of things I would think about, is the particle effects, especially Narvik, the snow map. There's just so much snow and like debris flying across your screen. It's very disorienting, and it kind of gives like a lot of noise to your image, so you can't really see all that well. And then the lack of 3D spotting. I like the lack of 3D spotting. Don't get me wrong, but it's so hard to pick out people that are shooting you, even if they have tracers. Like, you have to like get shot at like 5 times before you notice that, or before you find out where they are. And in this game, 5 shots is almost a guaranteed death with like any gun, unless you're shooting an SMG super far. So I think they need to do something about the way that players are rendered in, or something like that, to make it a little bit more easy for players to see each other. Damage, I think, is actually, it's a step in the right direction from Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. I felt that those games, especially Battlefield 4, I felt like Battlefield 4 was a little bit too slow to kill people. Like, I felt you really had to hit them a good amount of times, especially if you're using an SMG at like even like medium range at like the longest. It takes way too long. But in this game, I felt like they kind of overstepped. I think the time to kill is a little bit too fast. Not by much, maybe like 1 or 2 shots to slow it down. Like, at close range in STG, close to medium range in STG will kill you in 3 shots, excluding headshots. It'll kill you in 2 with headshots, as far as I know. I just felt like it's way too fast. Like, before, if you have a good player with an STG, if he shoots at you, by the time you have enough time, or by the time you react to it, you're already dead. It's just kind of a bad experience to get shot at. That being said, I do like the gunplay a lot, and the movement feels really good. It feels a lot more, the movement feels a lot more like Battlefield 4, which I like. And then back to like towards damage, bullet penetration is really weird. So I had several occasions where I would shoot my bolt action sniper, like the Lee Enfield, through an entire sandbag, like a player built sandbag barricade, and just one shot through it. And then in this video, I think I do actually show a clip where I shoot a guy 3 times through like a very like light twiggy bush with the bolt action, and it does like 20 damage, 30 damage headshots. And I don't know, it's just a bad experience. So I think they gotta normalize that a little bit and make it a little bit more consistent. And then back towards sniping, I think sniping's too easy. I felt like I was getting, it was actually kind of weird too. I felt like I was getting headshots that I didn't deserve, like people running perpendicular perpendicular to me very far away. I was like almost always able to pick them off within 1 or 2 shots. And I never been able to do that in another Battlefield. Like I'm pretty decent sniper, but like I just felt like it was too easy. So I felt like I was getting headshots that I don't deserve, and there was many occasions where I felt like I was not getting headshots that I do deserve. I don't know if that was like a hit registration problem or in my head. That's just kind of like how I felt sometimes. Like back towards movement, I think the movement's actually really good in the game. Like I said, it was more akin towards Battlefield 4. But as a heads up, there's still that annoying vault bug that's been in Battlefield for years and years, where if a wall is like shin height, you can't run over it, but if you vault over it, you'll like vault and then like get teleported back down, then vault and get teleported back down, and then you can just spam space over and over and over again until you actually get up there. So that's just kind of annoying. And then onto building. I think building's a cool mechanic. I think it's pretty creative, and I think it's kind of cool to see it in a Battlefield game. But I don't see it used like at all. Very rarely. The most I'd see it used is in operations on Airborne. So like that's like the first day or whatever of operations where the defending team has like maybe like a minute at most to build up defenses. And I think that's a kind of a cool thing. It kind of reminds me of a Rainbow Six Siege, where like the defenders have like a couple minutes to like reinforce their walls and make like kill holes and stuff. I think that the game would do better if it gave the defenders a little bit more time to defend, or a little bit more time to like build up their defenses. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. I think I was noticing some aspects of spawn protection. So I could there's several occasions where I could see someone spawn in, and I would headshot them with the bolt action sniper, and I have footage of it, I believe, where I would get the headshot indicator. Like I have it, I think it's red. When I get a headshot, and I get the headshot indicator, and it'll only do like 30 damage. And this was not through anything, not through any walls, not through any other players, just like straight up in the open, headshot, do 30 damage. And I thought that was really frustrating. I'm not sure if they're going to change that, if that was an accidental accidental thing or not, but it doesn't belong on Battlefield, and I didn't find it a good mechanic. Another thing towards building is having to build ammo and med crates. This game relies so heavily on the attrition system that I mentioned a couple minutes ago, that having to build those things is just another step. Because like if you're 20 HP and you're getting gunned down upon, and you go to the station that you know exists, and you walk up to it and it's just gone, you have to build it, and it takes like 30 seconds or 45 seconds to build it, and you're standing there without a gun out, mind you, just like hammering air until this thing gets built. I don't think they should have to be built. I don't know. With the way that the game plays at the beta and during the alpha a little bit, the alpha was a little bit better, but during the beta for sure, you needed those ammo and med crates far too much to have to build it half the time that you saw it. And then my last point I'm going to talk about is weapon customization. First and foremost, the weapon tree, like the weapon like skill tree, I'm doing like air quotes, it's just an awful system. Like you can like upgrade like your recoil and stuff, and you could choose like one of like 2 or 3 pathways you could go through, and you could choose like lower recoil or like more mag or more ammo in your mag, but you couldn't swap them out. So like if you chose one tree, you're stuck with that. Like you can't try out the other tree now. Like I don't know what they were thinking. Like you couldn't, if I went with let's just say like the right tree, and I went down that tree and I didn't like it, I couldn't go to the left tree. There's no way I could try out the other skills or the other perks or whatever for that gun, which is it's just stupid. Like I was just locked into that dumb tree that I didn't like, that didn't really do anything for me. But on the other hand, like the weapon cosmetic system, like the weapon skin customization, I thought was actually kind of cool. You could like interchange like your receiver color and your stock color, and like there's a few different like optic colors that had no impact on the performance of the gun. It just changed the way it looked. In the beta and the alphas, you couldn't change the way your soldier looked. So I have no idea what they're going to be doing with that. I'm guessing probably something pretty similar. The weapon skin customization, I thought it was actually kind of cool. But that's like kind of all the points I want to talk about in this admittedly longer than I want it to be video. I probably have to throw in some Battlefield 1 footage here because I'm going to run out of Battlefield 5 footage. Like as a side note, I played 2 of the alphas that I had access to and then the open beta, and I probably accumulated somewhere around 25 to 30 hours. So I'm by no means an expert on Battlefield in general, but I'm definitely not an expert in Battlefield 5. I don't know if anyone is at this point. But I felt like I got a pretty good taste of what the game entailed. So it was a good experience. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's going to be a good game. I just think that DICE has a lot to change, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on release, which is in, I think, November now. I think they delayed it. But yeah, that was like my off the cuff one take review, first opinions on Battlefield 5. I'm not sure if I'll do any more of these. I'll probably try to upload a few more gameplay footage of Battlefield 5, and I'll definitely be playing it a lot when it comes out. But as far as that goes, I appreciate you listening to me ramble on and probably stutter a few times, but as I wanted to be as honest and forthright as I could, and this is like the best way I could figure it out. So I'd appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe, as the cliche YouTuber saying goes, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.